I'm going to show you an introduction to Adobe Bridge. So if you are on your school laptop and you type in Adobe Bridge, or if you type in the Creative Cloud, you should be able to open up Bridge as long as you have it installed. Bridge is a great way to organize your photos, and it's super useful. It's honestly one of my favorite tools that Photoshop offers. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, if you have your photos on a SD card, you're going to have to find that SD card. So usually it'll be in this PC, and it'll be in the D drive. I know I took my pictures with my 3400 Nikon, and they'll pop up. Now, you'll notice that my files are an .nef. That means that they are a raw file, and it means that I can edit a lot of it in Camera Raw, which I can do from Bridge. So first of all, there's a couple of really nice things to do with Bridge. You can look at photos through here, and you can actually change the size. So if you wanted to bring this up a lot bigger so that you're looking at it more in detail, it gives you also the metadata right here, which is something that I'd expect you to be able to understand, right? The F here signifies what aperture I took it at. This number here signifies what the shutter speed was, and this is what my ISO was. So I'm able to look at this, and I can see that I have some nice, because I was in an f4, I got some nice bokeh effect here where it's all nice and blurry. I want to make sure that my actual image, the thing that I was focusing on, has some clarity. Okay. And looks nice and clean. You can use your arrow keys to go through your photos and see them really nice and easily. The other nice thing about Bridge is that it has a filter system. You can actually go ahead and use the star system here, this filter, okay, and you can see if the things, if your photos, if you like how your photo looks, you can give it a star. So I'd say, like, for me, is that good? Does it have the bokeh? Yes. Is it at a low aperture? Yes. Does it have rule of thirds? Yes. Is it interesting? I don't know. I think this maybe is a 4 photo. Okay, so I'll put it at a 4. Come on. Come on. If it'll let me. It might not let me because it's on the SD card. So what I'm going to do really quick, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this file. I'm going to go ahead and Control C, and I'm going to actually, no, just this one. Where's this one? Control C. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on my desktop. And later I'll go ahead and put it on my Google Drive. If you have Google Drive downloaded here, probably recommend just being able to do that. I am silly and I have not put Google Drive down here. So if you have Google Drive right here, then you don't have to like upload it again. Okay. This means that anything that I edit on here, I'm not changing on my SD card. All right, so this one, it's got pretty clean images. I can see a lot of clarity. Like I like the way this part looks right here. So now I should be able to use the filter system. Yep, there we go. So that was my issue. Okay, so now I'm able to go through these and start to see, okay, so this one, honestly, I don't think that that one turned out the way that I want it to, but I can try to do a few things to see what I can do to fix it if I want to, because it does have like cool shadows. All right. So I'll just go ahead and show you what I could do with this one, which is another cool feature of Bridge, where you can edit a picture in Camera Raw. You can edit pictures that aren't raw photos files. Like if you have them saved as JPEGs, you can still edit them in your Camera Raw, but you're not going to have as many options available. So the Camera Raw is this button that looks kind of like an aperture, and it'll pull up this thing. This is the Camera Raw. So you can see I have like a bunch of brights and a bunch of darks because I've got that level. Okay. So I can start to adjust just nice, quick, easy adjustments right here. So I can probably bring my shadows down and bring that. See, now I'm bringing some of that color back up. I can bring my highlights down a little bit, and I can bring my exposure up. And see how much more information I have on my picture than it looked like I had originally. Now, you won't have as many options if you don't do Camera Raw or take your photos in Camera Raw. Another thing that I love to mess around with in Camera Raw here is my texture and clarity. Okay, so I'll adjust for exposure. I might tip the balance. We'll see. Make it a little warmer. And you'll see that it's adjusting, like it's changing how the values are starting to spread out a little more. I mean, you can grab this and just pull it too, and it'll do what it thinks it needs to do. I think that's still a pretty good level that I like. Okay, you can still like pull the whites and the darks up if you want, but texture and clarity is something that I would really recommend. So clarity makes the image much sharper. Dehazing image, it just means that it takes away some of that overexposure. You can change the saturation. Now, I also see that there's some spots in here that I don't really like they're too bright. It's like too white for me, like this spot here. So I'm going to actually use my adjustment brush. This tool is so useful. I love this tool so much. Okay. This selects a section. So, let's see, where's the navigation? I don't remember where my navigation went to. There we go. So I can use the hand tool to kind of pull the picture around. Okay. Grabbing that adjustment brush. Okay. I'm going to select these sections that I think are over colored. They're overexposed. Okay. I'm going to bring the exposure on those areas down. See? There's so, especially in a camera, like in a raw image, you're going to be able to get so much more information. You can turn your contrast up. You can turn the highlights down in just this section. You can turn the shadows up. Okay. And then I'm using the Control minus to get back out. Okay. Now I have a lot more clarity in this section. Okay. And I might go ahead and if you just untoggle the adjustment brush. So I might just go up to here. Okay. And then I grab my adjustment brush here. And since I already have the same settings from down there, I can go through here and make those same settings. Now I don't really like it up here, so I'm just going to go ahead and press Control Z and undo it. Here I might turn the contrast down a little bit and turn the exposure up just a tad. Okay. And see how I can fix an image and really bring out that bokeh bubbles. So useful. All right. So, again, the things that are really useful here, clarity, that's going to clarify like the whole image, right? And see how it gets super sharp, and you can like turn it all the way up and you can see what that does to your image. You can see how detailed, especially if, again, if you're in a raw photo. But that also, you might want to turn like the exposure up. You might want to turn like the saturation up, you know, and you get a much different photo. Do you remember what I started with? And look how much I've changed here. Okay. So it's amazing what you can do in Camera Raw. And this is not even opening up Photoshop yet. I think that honestly, Bridge and Camera Raw are one of the most useful features. You can still use a JPEG. So I'll show another tutorial on how to use Camera Raw in a JPEG. Okay, and now I might go ahead and save that the way that it is. Okay, but I like to keep, personally, my SD card is pretty nice. I don't think I have to worry too much about my SD card filling up, so I will leave my SD card images totally alone and not edited. And I'll edit these ones on this file and make sure that I save this file onto my Google Drive, or the folder. Okay, I also can go through, oh, and to show you the filters ones, like if I think of these as like ones and these ones as fours or fives, so you can literally just go through and say like, okay, which ones are worth editing? And you can just go through quickly, like this obviously is not worth editing. Okay, that one is not worth editing. Okay. Oh my goodness, just listen to me. No, I don't want to edit it. Okay, once I've gone through all of my folders, what I can do is I can do filters. And so when I do that filter, I now have selected 4 stars or more. And so only the ones that have 4 stars that I've gone through have popped up. So that way I know which ones I'm going to spend time editing. All right, so those are the basics, okay? Adobe Bridge is useful for organizing your photos because you can use the filter tool. And then once you have your photos selected that you think you want to edit, go ahead and use the camera raw, which is here, or when you open it up, if you double click it, it will open in camera raw. Another thing to note is that once you have it opened in camera raw, if you press open image, it's going to open directly in Photoshop. And especially if you have a camera raw image, you're going to need to save it as a JPEG in order to put it up on your portfolio. Okay. I think personally, I don't like how much clarity this thing has. I think it's kind of ugly at this point. I don't really think I would want to have done that to my photo, but it does show you all of what you can do with your images. But personally, that's not my thing. Still, once you're done, you go File, Export, and export as a PNG. Make sure you have exported it. To, oops, you see nothing, to the folder that you just created with full of the photos. I would create a new folder and say edited photos. And you can say this one is, I would personally title them, since these are apertures. Okay, so this one was a 4 point, what was it, like a 4.2, I think. I don't know, like that for my aperture. We'll see. Oh, so call it F. Okay. Okay. F 4.5. And then once you have that all done, you've got it loaded, and it will take some time because it's thinking a lot. Okay. Make sure you close out of Photoshop. You saved your file, so you're good. And then you're done.